So in the spirit of so many things right now, yesterday was the new moon, today is 2/2/22, which I just think is super cool. I don't know any significance to it, but it feels like it should be magical. And because of the new moon, I want to teach you this breathing pattern that maybe you already know, and maybe you know that align. It's alternate nostril breathing, also known as Nadi Shodhana in Sanskrit, and it helps align the energies between the two nostrils that are said to sort of ebb and flow with the sun and the moon. So what I want you to do is take your right hand and you're going to take your thumb on your right nostril. You're going to take your second and third finger and sort of place it up by the third eye in between the two eyebrows. If it doesn't hold there, it's not a big deal. But you're going to close off that right nostril. And then you're going to take the fourth finger, the ring finger, and you're going to be using that for the left nostril. But don't squeeze it shut, please. So closing off the right nostril, you're going to inhale through the left nostril. Once you run out of breath, you're going to close the left nostril and exhale through the right. You're going to inhale through the right and then close the right nostril, exhale through the left. Inhale through the left. Exhale through the right. And then inhale through the right. Exhale through the left. Inhale. Close the left nostril and exhale. Inhale. Close the right nostril and exhale. Keep going with this. I'm going to turn my voice off and let you just kind of process it on your own. Observe yourself as you work through this. You find it hard to only breathe through the nostrils, not using the mouth. Does one side feel more stuffy than the other? One side sort of taps in to that fight or flight nervous system, and the other one with the rest and relax part of the nervous system, the parasympathetic nervous system. The right is the energizer and the left is the relaxing one. So go for just a little bit more on that. So do one more cycle. And then just come into a comfortable seat. last week I talked about, I think it was in this class and not just somewhere on the side or in another session, but just food for thought that intentional breathing practice, particularly focus on nasal breathing, is great. One thing that I read in this book, Breath, that I have just finished reading, is that between the ages of 30 and 50, we can lose 12% of our lung capacity. And then by the time we reach 80, we can lose up to 30%. You know, all things being considered, if we're not active, if we're not, you know, using good breathing patterns. So that, you know, this, what we just did is great for many reasons, but then that deeper diaphragmatic breathing and a thoracic breathing, where we're not just breathing shallowly from the chest, but that we're able to direct the breath all the way through the thoracic cavity, inhaling and exhaling. And of course, exercise helps all of that as well. So just food for thought. We take that breath for granted, and it's really the only thing that is with us from the time we're born until the time we leave the earth. So let's go ahead and transition onto all fours now. Spreading the fingers out, connecting the finger pads, knees under hips and hands under shoulders, and just work through a little bit of cat and cow. Speaking of good breathing, inhale as you drop the belly and lift the eyes, and then exhale as you arch the back and tuck the chin. And as you move through this, just try to sync the breath to the movement. Hips and shoulders are staying steady. We're really just kind of moving through that belly region, feeling that opening of the back and engagement in the abs as we arch to cat. And then that expansion of the belly as we come into cow. Let's do 2 more cycles here. And then just coming back into tabletop. I want you to try and curl your toes under as much as works for your body. And then just pull your hips back towards your heels a little bit. As you do that, with your toes turned under, you'll feel a nice little stretch on the bottom of your feet. Just hold that momentarily. And then from there, relax the tops of the feet down to the mat and just hold in child's pose. Reach the arms out towards the top of your mat as your hips melt back to your heels. Just taking a couple of big breaths in and out here. And then after you've done that a couple times, I want you to reach the arms over to one side and take a couple big breaths in and out here. And feel that compression as you breathe, feeling that expansion of the stomach, the side body on the quad, which is a good thing. And then you'll go over to the other side and do the same thing. So glad that you're all here today. Let's bring it back to the center. And then back up to tabletop. So this time as you inhale, you're going to shift your hips slightly to the side and then exhale, pull back to the heels or to the heel. And then you're going to inhale, shift over towards the other heel and come forward back to tabletop. So inhale and tabletop, and then exhale as you shift back and around. And then inhale as you come forward to tabletop again. So just nice, slow, diligent circles here. And you feel that stretch as you come back onto one side. And then feeling the stretch in the other glute as you shift to the other side. Just settle in here for a couple more. Trying to, again, link the breathing to the movement. And then what I want you to do is just reverse the direction. And let's do two more. So over, back and around as you exhale, and then forward as you inhale. And then meeting back at tabletop, you can go ahead and curl your toes under, and then I want you to lift up to downward dog. So your hips are up and then draw them back. Your arms are straight, elbow creases facing forward. And just pedal the feet out. Downward dog can also be done with your hands up on a chair. So if it doesn't work with you from the floor, you can make another little option or just come into a standing forward fold. Pedal the feet, feel that stretch through the feet and the calf, and then relax the feet and lift just a little bit higher, feeling that stretch on the back body. And then whatever works for you, go ahead and walk your hands to your feet or your feet to your hands and come into a forward fold. And bring your hands to elbows. And just gently nod your head side to side. And then from there, you're going to release the hands towards the floor, but lengthen the back and the spine. And gently rise up, running the palms of your hands up the front of your legs. Coming to the center of your mat, facing forward. And just a few shoulder rolls here. We all come together. And then just inhale, reach your arms up. And then as you exhale, you're just going to turn to one side and lower the arms. Inhale, rise, coming back to the center, and then exhale, turn towards the other direction. Inhale, rise and rotate. Exhale over to the other side. Inhale as you center. Exhale as you turn to the side, trying to stand sturdy without the hips really shifting. Let's go one more to each side. And then just come back to the center. I want you to step your feet a little bit wider, keeping toes in front of heels. We're coming into a 5-pointed star. So from there, you're going to bring your arms up and out kind of wide, spreading the fingers out, lengthening through the fingers, zipping up through the abs, just nice and sturdy through your feet, shining bright. In this new moon, lots of optimism and possibility, as you'll hear in the reading that I have for you later. A couple big breaths in, feeling that opening on the front of the body. Shining bright like the sun outside. And then just release the hands down. And now you want to step the feet in. Nice and close as you can get. If your feet come together and your legs come together, great. If they don't, that's totally fine too. From here, we're going to inhale, drop our hips back, raising our arms either out or up into chair pose, Utkatasana, if you will. So feel the tension in your legs. Try to pull your big toes into the mat. We have a tendency to kind of float back and always lift our toes, but let's keep them anchored. And again, reaching out in front of you. It's a great place to start. One more breath. And then on that next inhale, you're going to rise up, reach up, and then exhale the arms down. Inhale, we're going to come back down again. Try to float the arms up a little bit more this time if you were just out in front of you. Sitting back, feeling that strength, engaging the abs, shoulders relaxed. On the next inhale, reach up, reach back a little bit if you can, feel that engagement on the abs, and then exhale back to the center. Awesome. So one more time, inhale, sit back. And just kind of settle in. This time, if you can reach your arms up, if you need a little more space in your shoulders, you can hook your thumbs together. Otherwise, reach up as you sit back. And now let's take both hands together and bring them down towards the outside of one knee. I don't care which one you do. And you're just creating this little twist, feeling the strength in the legs. And then inhale, rise the arms up, and then exhale, turn over to the other side. And then just release, coming up. Take a big breath in, reaching up, and a big breath out, lowering the arms. So this time we want to step the feet wider with the toes pointed out. I'm going to bring the arms out at 90 degrees and slide down the wall into our goddess pose. So engage up through the pelvic floor, zipping up through the abs. So everything feels strong and stable at the pelvis. We're relaxing the shoulders, feeling the space in the neck. And again, just kind of sitting into our own strength. And then inhale, you're going to rise, straighten the legs, reach the arms up, and then exhale, sink back down. So you really want like this 90-degree, like goal post position with your arms, for those of you football fans out there. And then inhale, you're going to rise. And then exhale, you're going to come down again. And this time you're going to straighten the arms out. Just find what works for you. And then you're going to reach through the rib cage, side to side, keeping like that nice wide sort of plie position. So inhale one side, exhale to the other. One more to each side. And then release the arms and release the legs. So next we're going to come into warrior two. So you want to turn one foot, depending on your alignment, the toes are going to come sort of towards the camera for the way I'm standing. So if you're looking at me, my back leg is straight, the toes are pointing towards you, towards the camera. The front leg, the toes are pointing out away from the camera. Okay, so from there, you're going to bring your arms out, your hips are going to be diagonal, and then you're going to slide into that front leg. Back leg straight and strong. Front leg is bent and strong with the knee coming towards the third or fourth toe. You want your torso nice and vertical, so we're not leaning yet. We'll do that in a little bit. Just holding this warrior two, feeling that hip opening. And then inhale, I want you to straighten the legs and lower the arms. And then rise and slide back down. From here, you're going to drop the back arm, lift the front arm, reaching up, reversing this warrior, feeling a nice stretch on that side body, front body. And then coming forward, dropping elbow to thigh and reaching the back arm up. And again, just finding any option. If something doesn't work for you, just find sort of a way that does feel good for you. You're going to release, come back to warrior two, straighten the leg. And then as you exhale, you're reaching forward through the arm, keeping the leg straight and coming down to triangle. So hand is going to land towards the foot or the shin. If you have a yoga block, you can put your hand on a yoga block. You want to try and feel the hips and shoulders nice and stacked. And then you're going to inhale and rise and exhale, release the arms. And now you're just going to pivot your feet around. And we're going to repeat the same series on the other side. So inhale, rise the arms up, looking over the front hand. Exhale, slide into that lunge, drawing the knee towards the third or fourth toe, so it's not bending in towards the midline. Torso is nice and vertical with the shoulders over the ribs, over the hips. You all look just gorgeous. Beautiful, strong, and very stable as we've entered the second month of the year. So let's release the arms, straighten the leg, and then bring the arms back up and then slide back down to warrior two. Fixing that gaze over the top hand. Feeling the arms long and strong. Holding this lunge, drop the back arm, reach the front arm up. Feeling a nice stretch. Again, side and front. The only thing that's not optional, like I said before, is not breathing. So just don't lock into how it should be, just make sure you're doing it. And now you're going to float forward, dropping the elbow to the thigh, bringing the back arm up. If you've got the mobility in the shoulder, you can always reach the arm over the head. The bicep moves towards the ear, but whatever works. Still lifting up and out of the side body so you're not just dumping everything into that elbow and into that thigh. And then we're going to rise up, straighten the leg, Inhale as you reach forward, and then exhale as you land down into triangle pose if you need to reset that breath. Notice if anything is feeling different on this side. And then you're gonna rise up and just release the arms. And now we're just gonna pivot. So both feet are facing forward. The feet are still wide. You're gonna bring the hands to the hips and hinge nice and long through the hips, slowly lowering down into a wide forward fold. Engaging the abs. If you need to bend the legs a little bit, do so. They should not be bent, or they shouldn't be locked, and you definitely don't want them hyperextended. So once you've found your landing spot, you can release the hands down to the floor and just settle back into your breath. That little standing series, got your heart rate up. This is a great way to bring it back down, to cool down. But if you have things like high blood pressure or other medical conditions that are prohibitive to being in its extended forward fold position, just kind of care for yourself there. So let's inhale, extend and flatten the back, bringing the right hand sort of front and center. And then as you breathe out, you're gonna lift the left up and turn. So we've got this wide twist. Good. And then inhale, bring that left hand down, plant it on the floor, and exhale, bring the right up. And then inhale, release it down. And then you're gonna work your way down to a seated position. Just take your time. So we're gonna come into a butterfly position here, bringing the bottom of the feet together. You can hold the ankles, anchoring through those sit bones, those pointy little bones, at the bottom of the pelvis. Sitting up nice and tall. If this feels really tough on your hips, with your knees coming out, if you have a couple of blocks, you can put one under each knee, and that will just give them support, so you don't feel as much resistance. If the resistance feels good, then just continue to hold. And if you want, you can forward fold here. Oftentimes our stress lands in different areas of the body, and the pelvic area is a prevalent area for women to send stress. So if this feels tight, this is a good practice that can be done every day that can help loosen some things up and let those emotions float away. In a pie in the sky world, right? It's not really that easy. You have to manage it in some way, shape, or form, but this is a position that can just help loosen some things up, make things a little more comfortable. Next Sunday at 8 a.m. we'll come together again, if you're available, and we'll do a yin practice, which is a restorative practice where we do use this pose and we hold all the yin poses for, up to 5 minutes of time, which has some really redeeming healing power. So if you're interested in that, next Sunday at 8 a.m., the 13th of February. Think of it as your Valentine's Day gift to yourself. So let's rise up if you're folded here, and then release that position. You can assist your knees in, and then straighten your legs out. You might feel a little tightness as you straighten those legs out from that. So go ahead and just shake the legs a little bit. And then you're going to take your right leg up and over the left. We're going to do a seated twist. So there's two options here. You can keep that left leg straight, bringing the right leg over towards the outside of the knee. Or if you can stay anchored with both sit bones, you can tuck the left leg underneath you. The right leg stays still where it is on the outside or towards the knee. From there, you're going to take that left arm, you're going to hug the knee to chest as you lengthen through the spine and turn. The right arm is just going to come right behind you, or you can kind of reach behind your back, whatever works. Just letting that energy move up through all of the chakras that run up the midline of the body, from the root to the crown. And let's gently unwind from that. And then we're going to do the same exact thing on the other side. So bringing the left leg over the right, keeping the leg straight or tucking it under if that works. And then right arm hugs the left leg to the chest as we rotate. Lengthen up through the spine as you inhale and turn just a little bit more as you exhale, but not overdoing it. And then gently release, unwinding. And then let's transition onto our stomach. A little bit of refreshing back bending. So you're going to come down on your stomach. You're going to come with your forearms forward of your chest. Okay, so this is Sphinx Pose. So your elbows are going to kind of be in line with your rib cage, the upper part of the rib cage. Spreading the palms out, the fingers out, drawing the hips towards the mat and letting the tops of the feet rest on the mat. And just relax through the shoulders, feeling a little bit of a stretch on the front body, but if it feels like too much in your low back, just come down to what we call crocodile position, which is stacking your forearms and then just resting your forehead or your chin on your forearms. This is still a back bend. And if the Sphinx felt like too much tension, this crocodile is just a little bit gentler of an option. So any back bending, we want to make sure that we're not, again, just like dumping anything into the lumbar spine, that lower back region. We want to try to lengthen up and out. We're never wanting to compress the spine together, putting too much pressure on those vertebral discs. So no matter where you're at, let's release
and rest the chin on the hands. Bring the feet up and just windshield wiper side to side with the legs. Washing all that out. And then let's lengthen the legs back down. This time, you're gonna bring your hands down at about shoulder height. Your elbows, your forearms are gonna be off the mat. And you're gonna lift, kind of a balance of lifting the chest and the head while pushing through the hands a little bit. Bringing the chest off the ground. The lower part of the rib cage is still on the ground. Little baby cobra here. If you can press all the way up to a full cobra, shoulders away from the ears. And then gently lower, bring your hands to your side and just turn onto one ear. And then turn onto the other ear. And now you're going to bring your head back to center. You're going to keep your hands at your side, but I want you to turn your palms down. So this is opening the shoulders up, externally rotating them, which is the opposite position they're in when we are busy working all day and doing things around the house. So from there, I want you to hover the arms off the ground and then lift the legs, lift the chest, squeezing the glutes for a nice locust pose. Feel the arms long, feel the legs long, and then gently release. We're going to do this one more time. If you've got that ability, you can interlock the fingers behind you. You'll kind of fall at your rear, and then you can lift arms, legs, eyes kind of stay focused on your mat. And then gently release. From here, I want you to push yourself up, keeping your legs close together, coming back into child's pose and bringing your arms down at your side. So we're just countering that back bending with this position. Which is what we should do oftentimes with some of those stronger bending positions. And when we do that yin practice next Sunday, we often try to do that. We'll do one position and then we try to do that opposite motion for the next position since you're holding them for so long. So from there, you can gently release. And now you're going to make your way down onto your back. Bringing your feet in near your rear and just letting your arms gently fall at the side. You're going to lift up into a bridge. We're going to hold, squeeze the glutes together. Feeling a nice opening on the front of the body. Back should be straight, feeling straight. No tension in the low back. And then just gently sort of lower down. Think one vertebra at a time. Coming into contact with the mat. And then once you're all the way down, just bring your knees to your chest, giving yourself a little hug. And then from there, bringing the feet back to the mat, your arms out into a little bit of a T position. You're going to drop the knees to one side for a nice lower body twist. So you have a couple options here. You can stagger the legs. So the top one is further back than the bottom, and you can bring the top foot to the outside of the knee of that back, that leg that is a little further back. You're gonna feel a nice stretch, particularly in the side of the hip, like that TFL area. If you need more stretch in the back, stack the knees on top of each other and then pull the thighs more forward towards the stomach and pull the knees more forward. Either way, we want both shoulder blades in contact with the floor. Maybe you try a little bit of both. From there, we're releasing that twist, coming back to the center and then going over to the other side. Finding that optimal position for you where you're just feeling exactly what you need to feel in the stretch, not feeling wrenching or too much tension anywhere. From there, we're going to gently release, coming back to the center, bringing your arms down to your side, lengthening your legs out into our final position of the day, Shavasana, that complete resting position that allows your body to just take in everything that you just gave it, allowing you the rest before you rush on to the rest of your day. So I'm going to read to you a little bit about the new moon while you take this time for yourself. Be just listening to my words and trying not to think about all of the things you're going to do for the rest of the day, because all of that stuff will be back. And if you're not into this sort of celestial stuff, I apologize, but just take it for what it's worth and leave the rest behind. So if you have been itching for a celestial clean slate, your wait is over. The new moon in Aquarius is happening on February 1st, and it's giving us the chance for a fresh start, both personally and in a collective sense. This new moon is also happening on the same day as the Lunar New Year, which is the real start of the year for those who practice Chinese astrology. The new year, the new me vibes here will be extra powerful. This new moon is exactly the kind of energy we need right now. It is sandwiched between the direct turn of Venus and Mercury. This gives it potent energetic signature that will help us abandon the past and move into the future with more confidence. New moons always usher in new beginnings, and this particular one is supercharged with optimistic, forward-moving, change the world energy. Thanks to these two thanks to 2 retrogrades that are coming to an end. If you don't know anything about a retrograde, it's usually a time of turmoil. And I only share these things with you because I've seen so many themes over the years working with so many bigger groups of people now. So we'll be driven to show our independence and our authenticity during this time, with the Aquarian lunation asking us to vibrate at your highest potential. Ask yourself, what do you need to feel comfortable in your most authentic truth? When you are in your most authentic self, you are unstoppable. Is there a side of you that you think is weird or awkward? How can you invite this side of you to the table more? Armed with all parts of you, you can show up with bravery, courage, and conviction in service to our greater collective. What will propel you towards this new moon energy is to not only be yourself, but to embrace yourself. While new moons almost always have us focusing on the future, we'll also be using this time to take a look back. Think about where you were at last year at this time, or in June of last year, or even December. We'll be emotionally taken back to those dates during this period. We will be able to reassess situations that occurred during this time and decide how we want to continue existing relationships this year. If there were considerable changes that we wanted to make last year that we were not able to pull off, this time is a great time to cut that cord of energy and embrace this second chance. While we're basking in the glow of this lunation, think back to your New Year's resolutions. Ooh, that was a word I didn't want to say this year, but your intentions. What haven't you put into motion yet this year? What is it that you want to achieve? Now make it happen. This new moon wants to remind us that our thoughts, emotions, and actions create an electromagnetic field around us and a frequency in which we constantly emit. Your energy speaks for you before you do. So what is it saying? So gently start to bring a little bit of movement to your body, observing how you're feeling at this point. Just move a little bit, whether you're wiggling your toes and your fingers or taking that long full body stretch with your arms overhead. And then from there, you can turn on to one side, acknowledging yourself as you come up to seated position. You're making your way there. I'm going to stop the recording.